Okay, so I have all my exterior walls drawn and they're all in the right location. I want it, before I go any further and draw interior partitions, I want to make sure my exterior walls are the right length and in the right location because I'm going to be referencing my interior partitions off those walls. So I'm going to go up into my wall style. I want to go back into my Wall Styles Imperial Library. If I scroll down all the way to the bottom, there's interior 2x4 gypsum board and there's interior 2x6 gypsum board. I'm gonna, for now, just do 2x4 walls. I'm gonna select this wall style. Now, it has that 5/8 drywall, and remember how we changed the drywall on the exterior walls to 1/2 inch. So I want, before I go any further, I want to go up to my wall preferences. I want to double click on my gypsum board and change my thickness to 1/2 inch.
We change them to 1/2 inch for the exterior walls.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, wait. Hold up.
It's okay, we can change those after.
Okay.
Don't worry, because I'll show you a trick with that. But right now, we'll just, so I've changed my gypsum board on both the outside and the inside from 5/8 to 1/2 inch. So again, now it's gone up to an unstyled wall. Before I go any further, I want to make sure I save preferences as wall style. And it's not actually 2x4 gypsum board 5/8, it's 1/2 inch. So I'll just change that here and hit OK. And now I have my new wall style. Okay. For exterior walls, we've measured from outside of sheathing to outside of sheathing. Interior partitions, we measure to center. So if we're referencing off an exterior wall, but we're drawing an interior partition, we're measuring off the exterior sheathing to the center of our partition. Between interior partition to interior partition, it's center line to center line. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is, you can't draw a wall on top of a wall. And I could use a dimension line, but right now I'm just going to use a line. And I'm going to go into my line tool, and I'm going to draw a line on the outside of my sheathing. Doesn't matter what the length is. I'm just going to be using this line as a reference. So if I'm drawing all my interior partitions along the right side of my building, I can see that that first dimension is measured from the outside of the sheathing to the center of the partition, and it's 15 foot 3 3/4. So with this line selected, I'm going to use my move command, so Command M. I'm going to go down minus 15 foot 3 3/4 and hit OK. There is my line. Now I'm going to go back into my wall tool, and I have my interior wall style selected. I want to be from the center, right? Because that's where we reference our reference point for interior partitions. It's a symmetrical wall, so it doesn't really matter if I use which wall control line mode I use. So right now I'll just leave it as it is, and I'm just going to draw on top of that reference line and do a wall length of an arbitrary value. And I'm just going to double click and create that line. Okay, now that I have that interior wall line or wall drawn and selected, I can just go and duplicate, Command D, and move, Command M. And now this time I want to go and look at my dimension for my next wall. And in this case, I'm going down -7 foot 9. Hit enter. And then I'm going to go and do my next wall, duplicate again, Command D, move, Command M. And I'm going to go down looking at my next dimension, -8 feet. And those are the 3 horizontal lines on the right side. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm not going to worry about what length they are, where they need to go to. I'm just placing them horizontally where they're located. Okay, Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my vertical lines. So I'm going to go in and draw a line again. This time I'm going along the outside of the sheathing in the vertical direction. And I want to select that line. I'll make it a bit, it doesn't matter actually. And now with that line selected, I can look on my plan and I can see that I want to, from this reference point, the exterior sheathing, I want to move this line 16'9" in the X direction and negative to the left. I don't want to move Y, and I hit enter. Again, I go into my wall tool and I draw over that line and I have my vertical one. This one, if I'm looking at my plan, actually goes, I can modify my lines just like I did with my selection, I can modify my walls just like I do my lines. So I can grab the scaling handle and make it longer. I can also see that in this case, this vertical wall is supposed to T-join with this wall. So, and I'll show that, but first I'm going to do my other vertical walls. So from this one, our closets are going to be 2 feet deep. So when we're creating that interior space of 2 feet, we need to, we're moving from left side of left to left side, but in this case we want our right side and left side to be, the distance between to be 2 feet. So I need to duplicate and move this wall 2 feet plus the thickness of the wall. And in this case, it's 4.5 inches because we have our 2x4, 3.5 inches plus ½ inch on either side. So there's my closet. I'm just gonna shrink and move this down for now. And then duplicate, move. I have 5 foot 4.5 in the positive direction, and I have that other wall. I can see from this vertical wall, this partition is 12'6", so I can go back and I can duplicate, move, and I'm going to move this 12'6" and hit OK. This one is actually in this location, and I'll just leave, I'm just placing it all for now, okay? So, and when we're drawing off corners, so we want to make sure that our corners are aligned. So no matter what the dimension is, we're going to want to make sure that my right side of my drywall lines up with the edge of my exterior drywall. Now, Vectorworks is intuitive. It doesn't quite know how to handle everything. So in this case, in this case, I'm going to undo. I do want to do my outside of my wall, not my core component. So I'm going to go in. So it kind of tries to auto join everything. What's most important is that these toe walls are joined. So I've selected 2 walls and I go Command J and that joins them. Except, and this one I want to shrink down. What happened is it tried to join it, and in joining it, it cut this off. So I can see that my object handle is on the outside of what my wall actually is. So I don't want it to look like that. So there's also this heal tool or remove wall breaks. So before I can fix this any further, I have to select this remove wall breaks tool, and I'm just clicking and drawing a marquee around the end of the wall, and you can see it extended it further. And now in this case, I want to just grab this wall with my crosshairs and I want to move it. So that's kind of the best kind of join we can get there. This wall is also duplicate, move. I'm going minus. So these two walls are aligned. I'm going 3 foot, 11 and a quarter. Okay, I'll work with the walls I have right now. So right now I've placed the walls, they're not joined the way I want them to. I can click and drag, and Vectorworks tries to auto join my walls. That's not really how I want it, but that's one way of doing it. I can also go and under my walls, I have this wall join tool. So my wall join tool that changes these menus, I can do a T join, an L join, or a cross join. I can also do it in uncapped join mode or a cap join mode. I want to do an uncapped. I'm going to use my T join mode, and I just, when hovering over the wall, it highlights it. So this is going to be the base of my T, and this is the top of my T. So I click on this one first, and then I click, I don't even have to, it keeps that dotted line, so it's kind of, I'm going to connect it to this wall, and it automatically auto joins all these walls. So now they're placed. I don't have to worry about like stretching them a specific value. I'm just joining them all. So I can even go like this, and this one's going to trim that one, and this is going to go there, this is going to go there, this is going to go here, this one here. So it doesn't matter if they're too long, it doesn't matter. I need to make sure that I'm specifying the base here, because this is the part of the wall that I want to keep, not this end. And this one is actually a T join, it goes too far. Wall join again. This one is like this. This one is like, no. Yes. I want to L join this one actually. And now I have to be aware of what part of this wall I'm joining, right? So I'm L joining, so it's going to trim off that bottom section. If I went from this base to this side, it's going to trim off that other tail end and join it that way. So I want this to here. And okay, I am missing, and I can always grab my walls and shorten them again. And this wall, I'm going to duplicate and move. It's going to be for a closet. I'm moving it up, so I want a 0x offset and a positive 2.45. And it maintained this miter that it created to join it here. So again, I can just go into my wall join, and I want to T join. And now I have that correct. And that one is 2 foot, duplicate, move, 2 feet, 0.5 inches. And in this case, I want my selection tool, and I can just go, I want it. So I can use my wall join tool, or I can shift select and command J, which is going to join those walls. Okay, so now let's go look up here. This isn't actually how I want it joined. I want it so that this stud of a wall actually ends at the exterior stud. So I can go into my component join, and same, this time we're joining components, not the entire wall. I can T join, I can L join, I can cap T join as well. So now I want this component, to join with this component, and I can see that it then cuts that off. I want to get rid of that line, but it's right there. Okay, so we've gone over interior partitions, so changing the drywall to 1/2 inch. We're going to use, for that first wall placement, we're going to use our line tool to snap off our exterior sheathing. Then we're going to use our duplicate move command tools so that we can place all our walls. And then we're going to go into our wall join and either T or L join all our walls that we've placed. And that was just a matter of a couple clicks. If it doesn't join how we want it to exactly, we can go into our component join and specify. See, in this case, I could even join, it has already joined my drywall to my drywall. But I could play around and be like, I want to connect my drywall to my sheathing. We wouldn't actually want that, but that's how that component join works. So in this case, I want to join my stud framing to my stud framing, and then it cuts it off there. Any questions?